Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 7:01. We'll go ahead and get started with our student and parent information webinar. I don't want to take up too much of your time this evening. I do want to welcome everybody for taking some time on a Thursday evening to visit with us a little bit. We do have some information as we get you started on the 2022-2023 school year. So we're excited to get started. And so the call is being recorded. So the plan is to create a link and share this out. If not tonight, definitely first thing in the morning. Okay. So with that said, I want to introduce some of our team who's here. I want to introduce, first of all, Mr. Rubio, assistant principal.
Good evening, folks.
Mrs. Den, assistant principal.
Hi, good evening.
Ms. Castillo, counselor. And Ms. Mas, also one of our counselors. Mrs. Hauk will probably be joining us later on, but she may not be able to make it, but she is our senior counselor here as well, as is Yvonne Salgado, who will be working with us here this year as well as serving our students at Frank Wright. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we have a presentation for you. Hopefully we can answer a lot of your questions. If you do have a question during the presentation, feel free to put it in the chat, and one of us will be able to answer it. And if not, we'll be able to address them here at the end of the presentation. All right. Okay, so can we see the screen, team? Okay.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So this is our Tiger Talk Parent Student Information Webinar. Today's Thursday, August 11th, 7 o'clock. So what we want to focus on this year, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very hectic 2 years. Year before last, we had distance learning. We survived that. We're here. Last year, we had a very tumultuous year with all the cases and whatnot, but here we are. So we want to focus on this year. We want to be here every day. We want to be on time to all of our classes. We want to stay focused and get after it and really show that Tiger pride. Imperial High School has had a long tradition of academic excellence, and it's a fine institution made up with fine people. So we want to make sure we are being faithful to that tradition and provide the support to all of your students so that we can ensure that they are successful in their education as we move forward. Okay, so first, some of you and on the call we probably have a wide selection of parents and students on the call. So this is a schedule with a student who has a first lunch. First period, if you're enrolled in an 8-period class, that starts at 7 o'clock. And then we have an academic support advisory class session that's 32 minutes that starts at 8:30. So the first bell rings at 8:25, and students must be in their classrooms and in their seats ready to get after it at 8:30. All right. And then as you can see, we have first period, second, and then this particular student would have first lunch. All of our periods are 53 minutes in length. Lunch is 40 minutes. It's actually a good lunch because a lot of other districts or schools that I've worked at, you're talking 30-minute lunch. So we do have 2 lunch periods. So we have the ability to provide our students and our staff with a little bit of a longer lunch period. So that would be it. This is a lunch schedule for a student who would have a first lunch. All right. Student who has second lunch would have it at 12:49. So the difference is someone with first lunch has 3 periods after lunch. Someone with second lunch has 2 periods after lunch. At the end of the day, it's all the same minutes as far as instructional minutes per period and lunchtime. So this is just an example of a student with a schedule who would have second lunch. This is our minimum day schedule, which will be a minimum day on the first day of school, August 22nd. Class begins at 8:30. The periods are just a little bit shorter, 38-minute periods. And during this period, lunch is distributed to all students after school if they want it at the kiosk here or here at our cafeteria. So once again, minimum day schedule, the release for our students is at 12:43. So we have lunch again offered after school to our students. And again, first day of school is a minimum day, and the student release time will be at 12:43. Some updates on the construction. If you've had a chance to come onto campus, you see that there's a lot of activity going on. So we have the construction of our new multi-purpose room, our kitchen, culinary arts classroom and lab, and we also have 4 new portables on campus. So the construction is progressing right along. Originally, we were hoping it'd be finished by October, but we're looking at the project being complete by the end of this year. So hopefully when we get back for second semester in January, we'll have access to a brand new multipurpose room that's really going to provide for some really nice gatherings and meetings and whatnot here on our campus. We're getting close to 1,400 students, so the multipurpose room is definitely going to be a huge help in that area. Like I said, we're looking to finish up by December or January, keeping our fingers crossed that we can move forward in that trajectory. The dining area right now at school will be used only for class. We have a culinary arts class, but we will also make available, especially in the early months when we get started, September, October, before the weather starts tapering off a little bit, students will be able to eat lunch inside the library, and we're going to open up an empty portable as well so that they can get some eat inside with an air conditioning. But if you visit us at lunchtime, you'll see that the majority of our kids sit on the benches out in the quad, even when it gets hot. But the cafeteria, the dining area won't be available, but we will have the library as well as as an additional classroom or classrooms where students will be able to eat, have their lunch. There's also 4 new portables right just north of Barione on the west end by the staff parking lot. One of those portables is going to be for our robotics class. Another one, we're bringing our fire science program back onto campus. And then the other one portable will be vacant, and then one will have an additional teacher using that. So those portables are a huge relief and a huge help, particularly with all the construction that we have going on right now. So this gives you just kind of a picture of the construction area. So if you've been on campus, you see this wall that's around the construction area. Our students have done an awesome job of putting up a bunch of murals, and they'll probably put some more as the year progresses and when the weather breaks a little bit, but right before Christmas, because hopefully when we return for second semester, we'll have a brand new MPR and kitchen and classroom here. So this is still the construction area that's being worked on. So real quick, access to campus, student drop-off, and security. So one is the main entrance off of Barione Boulevard, then the northeast entrance by the district office parking lot, the north entrance by transportation loading and drop-off zone, and then the student drop-off zone. Student parking lot, the student drop-off zone is the student parking lot just off of Barione and just west of the staff parking lot. So I'm going to ask us to please do not use the staff parking lot as a drop-off zone. We'll have it, the student parking lot coned off so that you can come in and drop off your students and then proceed right around the loop and exit back onto Barione. So in an effort to ease the congestion in the morning. So please, if you could do me that favor, don't use the staff parking lot area as a drop-off zone. drop your kids off by the gate in the student parking lot on just closest to the old gym. And they'll be able to get out of there and go wherever they need to go on campus. That's for the drop-off zone. So as I'm going to show you the pictures of the entrance, the northeast entrance, and the first 4 bullets, but I want to talk just a bit about security. And you know, our parents here at Imperial High School do an awesome job. I'm always so proud of just how much support we get from parents. So I can't thank you enough for the support. Dropping off lunch at school will continue to not be allowed. The rationale is number 1, safety. Number 2, health. There's been situations where other sites that I'm aware of will drop off lunches, delivery or whatnot, and we don't know what items are in those lunches, in those deliveries, in those bags. So we're really working at heightening our security. So if your student wants to bring lunch to school, they can eat here on campus or bring lunch home from school. But please work with us, and we won't be allowing lunches to be dropped off. What usually happens is in the past, folks would drop off lunch and we can't house them in the office. So we set them out there on a table, and health code wise, food is not meant to sit outside for any kind of period of time. So last year, you guys did a great job in supporting us with that. And I'm going to ask you to please continue with supporting us in that area. Also, you know, this is not the rule, it's more the exception. Please do not bring lunch to school and hand it over or through the fence. We're really heightening our security. We want to heighten our security situation. So please don't bring lunch and hand it over the fence or pass it over. So we really appreciate your support there. Site administration and security is working with the Imperial Police Department on assessing the site for all perimeter and security purposes. We just met this week with the chief of police, our school resource officer, our site administrative team, to look at our safety plan that we're going to be sharing with our staff here when we get started, and our protocols so that our students understand what to do in the event that we have to lock the school down, or particularly in an earthquake or natural disaster type of situation. So we will be sharing more information on that once we get it down. We are planning a drill or drills coming up here as we get started with school, to use it as an exercise for our students as well as for our law enforcement partners. All right. So more information coming to you on security, but I assure you that we have been working on making sure that our gates are secured. We only have certain entrance areas to the campus, access areas, and our administrative team, our security team, our school resource officer, and Imperial Police Department is working. And I've been really proud from some parents who are retired, law enforcement, Border Patrol, corrections, who really have reached out to see how they can help. So we want to really see how we can put everybody's expertise to use and make this a legitimate team effort. So more information coming on that. So this is the main access to campus off of Barione, the main entrance, Imperial High School. It looks wonderful, red and white, all good. So students can come through the main entrance every morning at school. They usually, on most mornings, they'll see Mr. Rubio greeting them at the front door. And Mrs. Din and I are usually out in the middle of the quad and that area. So we're ready for your kids when they come in the morning to greet them and make sure everything's on point. So this is the main entrance off of Barione. This is the gate over by the ag area, right next to the district office. So this is another entry point to the campus where students can come in at the beginning of school during the day. And then you have the North Transportation Loading Zone, where that's the drop-off zone, where students can come in when the bus drops them off here, and then we send them over. into class. Usually Mr. Cruz is taking care of this area, and we have people on the perimeter areas. And we also, our Imperial Police Department is always aware of our start times of school, lunch times, and release times. So we may not see the unit right there, but they are within the vicinity and well aware of the times that we have lunch when we start school and we have school being released. This is the student parking lot that I'm referring to as far as our drop-off area. You would just come in through the entry point, veer right, go around, drop off the student over on the corner where there's a gate, and then your student can go there, and then you would just loop around and then exit out of the parking lot. So the area does allow itself to go in there and drop off. So again, I want to thank you in advance for doing that, for using the student parking lot as a drop off and really not use the staff parking lot area. All right, transportation. Our transportation protocol at Imperial Unified, if you are interested in transportation, this is the process. They need to be, so if you use transportation last year and the year before, you have to re-up it or reapply for it every year. So even if you used it before, you have to go through the process again. So they've really simplified it. You're going to go and you're going to go to do.imperialusd.org. You're going to click on transportation, and then you're going to scroll down to transportation request form, complete the form, submit it, and then a member from our transportation team will contact you. All right, give it a couple of days. If you don't hear back, please reach out to myself or Mr. Rubio or Mrs. Den just via email. Or you can always call me or text me. But this process has been working so far. So once again, go to the website, click on transportation, go to transportation request form, complete the form, and then a team member from the transportation department will be getting in touch with you. So as I mentioned before, right when we started this talk, there's 3 goals for success this year. And I think as parents, most of us will agree that in any endeavor that we choose to pursue, we got to be here every day at school. Now, if you're sick, then you should stay home. You know, the days when we grew up and says you're going to school no matter what, we got to be a little bit more careful with that. So if your child is feeling under the weather, has a temperature, runny nose, keep them home for the day. If they feel better, send them to school. But just be conscious of that. Be a little bit more conscious in terms of if our kids are feeling a little bit under the weather. So we want to be here every day. We want to be on time to school and to all of our classes. Some of the things that we saw last year is a lot of folks showing up late in the morning at the beginning of school. I'm going to go over a little bit of that in just a minute. But we want to be on time to school and to all of our classes. And we want to stay focused and get after it. We want to, Imperial High School is all about the pursuit of excellence. So we want to make sure that if we are here every day, if we're on time to our classes, and we're staying focused and getting after it, we're going to be successful. And I think the same thing applies to any situation in life. If I come to school every day and I'm on time to class and to meetings, and I can stay focused and get after it, then I'm going to be successful. Chances of being successful are going to be higher than if I don't. So class begins at 8:30. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, and any Tigers who are on the call, is that at 8:30, you're in your seats and you're ready to engage. All right. If you're walking in at 8:30, then you're late. You're not on time. So by 8:30, we need to be in your seats and ready to engage. Passing period, that's the time in between classes. The time is there for us to get to the next class. So we want our kids, our Tigers, to make an exceptional effort and hustle to class. I know you guys can do it. This is something, if you just walk a little faster, you'll get to class on time. But if in between classes, I'm doing more socializing and I'm not focused, then I'm not getting after it and getting to class. Okay. So it's a 5-minute passing period. If your classes are from one end to the other, I understand. But if you walk just a little bit faster and you stay focused, you should be able to get there on time. Tardies. Excessive tardies will result in disciplinary intervention and may result in recommendation to SARB and restriction from extracurricular activities and events. So 1 tardy a semester, 2, maybe 3. After 3 tardies, you're going to be assigned study hall. And if the tardies continue, then that could be construed as defiance. So you'll be hearing from myself, from Mr. Rubio, from Mrs. Din, to figure out why our students aren't getting to school on time when class starts at 8:30. So the education code requires us to be in school every day and on time. So again, I know as parents, we know we want our children to be on time because we know the value of promptness and the value of respecting our time. So our teachers will be ready for your kids when class begins, at the beginning of the day and throughout the day. And we want to just make sure that we understand that we're here every day, that we're on time to school in all of our classes, and that we stay focused and get after it. In an effort to help us keep focused, I've sent out some correspondence emails to everyone over the summer. Our dress code and cell phones policies will be enforced more so than they were last year. We are back. We're still living through this pandemic, but we're still here. So again, we have a tradition of excellence at the Imperial High School. Our kids do awesome work because they have awesome parents, and they get awesome educations because they have awesome teachers and counselors. So dress code and cell phone policies will be enforced in an effort to help us stay focused and get after it. So any clothing that depicts or promotes tobacco, drugs, or alcohol is inappropriate for school. Clothing that promotes violence or discrimination is inappropriate for school. Excessively short clothing, shorts, skirts, whatnot, is inappropriate for school, as are bare midriff, sagging of pants. Okay. If you look at our dress code, district dress code policy, I have sent it out, I believe, 4 times over the summer for us to review. So before you go out and get your final clothing shopping for the school year, make sure you take this into consideration, because ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with this. We expect to hit the ground running on August 22nd. So on the first day of school, we're ready to go. Other places might wait a little bit or whatnot, but we're the Imperial High School, and we're going to be a little bit different. We have a little bit higher expectations. So we want to make sure that we're providing this in advance so that everybody understands. That's how we're providing that support, and we're front loading this. The following items are not appropriate for school: 40s and shorties, cookies brand or advertising, the Playboy insignia, and also wearing of chains on your pants or any kind of spiked jewelry around the hands or fingers, wrists. So those are or other items. Now, there might be other items here that I haven't mentioned, but these are the big items here that we need to be aware of. Okay. So we are in the process of revisiting our dress code policy, but as of right now, our policy stands. So this is going to go into effect. If a Tiger shows up with inappropriate clothing for school, they'll be given, we're going to have loaners here, clean, of course, an alternative clothing article, or parents will be called to bring alternative clothing. So we don't want to keep them in the office. We want them in class. So we'll have some shirts that say Tiger Pride on them that we'll loan to the student to put on. And then we also have some shorts, some new clean PE shorts that we'll issue. If a student wears an inappropriate for school article of clothing. After the first incident, study hall or detention will be assigned. And we will expect the situation to be corrected at that time. But after 3 incidents and beyond, the student may be at risk of being suspended from school, assigned in-school suspension for defiance as per Education Code 48900. So, you know, we want to be supportive of our families and our students. But I always tell our students that if I, as your principal, start dressing inappropriately, then the rest of us can do that. So you usually see me in a shirt and tie, and you'll continue to see that. Not that you have to wear a shirt and tie. I always wear one because I feel more comfortable like this. So I just, it's got to be appropriate for school, for our students. All right. Cell phones. This has been an interesting one as parents. I'm sure we all struggle with cell phones at home and at the dinner table, or if we go to a restaurant. So in an effort to stay focused and get after it, our district cell phone electronic device policy will be enforced. Okay. So this applies to myself and my administrative team as well. If I will not be seen out on campus on my cell phone. That's my pledge to you and to my students. Okay. If I'm caught on my cell phone, I'm going to owe the student lunch from Subway. I'll get them a gift card, and that'll be, but that can get expensive. So I pledge that I will not be on my cell phone when I'm out there in classrooms or with my students. Okay. So they need to be turned off and put away or silenced and put away in backpacks or purses. All right. Starting at 8:30. Once that bell rings, cell phones need to be put away. Any AirPods or any kind of headphone or listening device needs to be put away. Please do not, a lot of us like to hang wires from our shirts. Please put the wires away. If you need to make a phone call, you can come to the office and one of our team members will help you make that call. If you need to reach your child, call the school, say, I need to talk to my child, and we will call them and let them know that they need to contact their parent and come over to the office. If your child doesn't know your phone number, which is in this day and age is very likely, have them see someone in the office, Mr. Rubio, Mrs. Din, or myself, and we will allow them to take out their phone and make that call to you. If you are, I know offices get busy. If you need to get a hold of your child, all of you have my cell phone number. And I really appreciate the fact that you all use it once in a while. And I really appreciate the fact that you don't abuse it. That's awesome. Been here. This is my 9th year at Imperial High School. And my parents have had my cell phone number the whole time. And it's been great. So I thank you for that. So if you need to go to, if it's an emergency, you need to get a hold of your child, give me a call or send me a text. When I get back into my office or into the office, I'll check it and respond. I assure you that when I am on my phone in my office, it's not on social media. It is work. So please, I'm asking for your support on this. Please tell your children. And if any of you tigers are on the call, cell phones from 8:30 to 3:25 need to be put away because we need to stay focused and we need to get after it. The cell phones will not to be allowed to be out at lunchtime either. As a school district, as a school, we are responsible, as per the Education Code, to monitor electronic devices and cybersecurity on campus. Every child will be issued a school device this year, a new Chromebook. So we won't allow any personal devices because we have one for each tiger. All right. We can monitor what's on that as we're tasked to as an LEA. We cannot monitor what's on the cell phones. We've had occasions, ladies and gentlemen, where tech has alerted us that students are researching inappropriate subject matter on devices. So we're able to intervene. We can call the parent, we can provide that support. We cannot monitor when a child is on their cell phone, what websites they're going to, what they're looking at. We can't do that during school hours, and we are responsible for making sure we're doing the best we can to monitor the cybersecurity of our students. All right. Once you leave campus and school's out, you can take your cell phones out, you can do what you need. I know this is unlike any other, very few places, but Imperial High School is a special place. And it's a special place because we have special parents that make and help raise special children. So this is the expectation. All right. So if on the first infraction, the device will be placed in the office, and then the parent or guardian may pick it up after school. All right. We're not going to return the phone to the student. The parent must come by and pick up the phone. Tigers, if you're listening and your parent isn't available or your guardian, then we're going to have to hold the phone until your parent can come by and pick it up. Okay. That's the first one. The first time your phone is taken because it's being used out of compliance with the code. If there's a second time, then the policy says it goes into the vault here in my office for 14 school days. Study hall will be assigned, okay? But you'll need to speak to me or Mr. Rubio or Mrs. Den, and we'll give the phone to the parent, but the student cannot bring that phone back to school for 14 school days, okay? If a phone is brought, if there's a third infraction, and I doubt that there will be because we're Imperial Tigers, then the privilege of bringing a device to school may be revoked, and discipline may be assigned as overt defiance, and may result in suspension from school as per Ed Code 48900. So once again, this is just information I'm giving you, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to be as candid as I possibly can with the electronic devices. The electronic devices, they're an awesome tool. They're an awesome tool, but they're a distraction. Kids are walking from one class to the other on their phones. They're not focused. We want our Tigers focused so that we can provide them the best possible education. All right. So once again, on the notes, electronic devices must be turned off or silenced during the school day. Headphones, earbuds, AirPods are to be put away. This includes iPhones or any kind of creative devices that exist today. Devices are not permitted at lunchtime either, as I just explained, due to cybersecurity. Students may use their school-issued device. So if it's lunchtime and you want to take out your Chromebook and work on an assignment or go on an appropriate website, then there's nothing wrong with that because that can be monitored as well. All right. Registration. Here's the thing, and I want to clear something up here. I'm calling it registration because it's out of habit. It's really an opportunity for us to get to know your kids, to get to know you, although you don't need to come, but it's also to provide residency verification. If you're having trouble with your online registration, we'll have some computers, some laptops in the gym to help assist with that. But really, you're coming over, seniors, juniors, and sophomores on Monday to provide any residency verification. If you've been in school for your entire career and your address hasn't changed and you've completed the online registration, then your schedules are going to be available on student and parent view. But if you need to pick up PE clothes, if you need to come by and check out the campus real quick and just kind of feel your way around, if you need to provide residency verification, if you need help or questions with your registration, that's the time to come if you haven't done it already. If you're new to our district, then absolutely you need to come by and make sure that your residency verification is taken care of. So we set this time aside on Monday for seniors from 8:30 to 10, juniors from 10 to 12, and sophomores from 1 to 3. Tuesday will be for ninth graders from 8:30 to 12. All right. And usually our ninth graders all take PE. So it's a good time to come pick up your PE clothes. We'll have our ASB students here helping with registration. We'll have myself, Mr. Rubio, Mrs. Dan, a lot of our classified team in here helping out, our registrar. So we're here to help. So those are just it's a day and a half to come over to school and say hi. It's not registration the way it used to be where there were these long lines, because all of that should be done online, especially if you're returning to our district, if you're returning to school. Okay, so as I mentioned here, must be completed online. If you're returning to IUSD, you just need to complete the acknowledgements. Our registrar's office is open. All right, so if you have questions, feel free to email here to our registrar, or give us a call here in the office and we'll transfer you over, or stop by and visit. All right. But you must complete the online registration process. It's a lot easier when you've already been in the district because it's just completing the acknowledgements. All right. So for residency verification, 2 copies of our current utility bills, electric bill, water bill, light bill. We prefer those kinds of utility bills that are current. If you can bring us the copies, that would be awesome. PE clothes, and walk around the campus and get any questions answered for you. Class schedules will be visible to students and parents on August 17th. I want to just be really brief on this, but also emphasize that during the first 2 weeks of school, we're going to be balancing our class schedules. All right. So there might be some changes if you don't want them. So we're not going to take any, we're going to do the schedule change requests in person. So when your kids come to school after school on that Monday, seniors are going to be given first priority because we need to make sure their classes are in order. But only essential changes are going to be made, ladies and gentlemen. What I mean by essential changes is, okay, if I'm missing an English class, then absolutely we need to make sure you have that. All right. Or a class requirement. All right. We're not going to approve I want to change my lunch period so I can eat with my friends or whatnot. Students will say, I don't have any friends, Mr. Apodaca, during my lunch period. Well, you know what, Tiger? That's a great opportunity to make some new friends. All right. We're always looking at the positive side. Okay. So, if a lunch period produces an essential conflict, then yeah, we'll have to make that adjustment. Teacher changes won't be approved either, unless there's extenuating circumstances, but those will require administrative approval. Any lunch period changes, teacher changes will require administrative approval. All right. Our counseling team has been advised, we're not doing essential, we're only doing essential changes. So on Monday, students can drop by the counseling office and put in a request. Our counselors will call them out. All right. But I assure you, we'll get them through the first couple of weeks. Okay. So essential changes. And again, we're going to be doing schedule changes in person because we find that that's more practical when the student fills in the request. Counselors can call them in during the day. The first week or two, there's a lot of movement because we have students enrolling, we have students who don't show up. So we want to make sure we're having everything in order. So there's a lot of movement, but that's also a good opportunity for our teachers to spend some time to get to know our kids and vice versa. I want to give a shout out once again to our team here at Imperial, our counselors, our front office staff, our registrar has been, it's a very busy time of year right now. Our student accounts, we're not all back right now. Our registrar is here and most of our office staff is back. But I want to make sure that we're working together as a team to make sure that we're taking care of you and taking care of your kids.
Mr. Apodaca, can you clear something up? I think parents are a little confused as far as our students who have been in the district this entire time. They still need to bring proof of residency, correct, to registration?
Only if their address has changed.
Okay.
Okay, so, and that's my fault, because in previous communications, it sounds like everybody's got to bring that. If you've been in the district and you've completed the acknowledgements and your address hasn't changed, then you don't need to bring us the proof of residency. If the address has changed, then please go ahead and bring us a proof of residency at that time. If you can't make it at that time and you bring it by the high school before then, we'll take it then too. I hope that provides a little bit of clarification.
Okay. And then, Mr. Apodaca, can I just talk a little bit about schedules, how we're going to do it?
Absolutely.
Start like the first week of school. So we will no longer change schedules by emails. I know our seniors are probably used to that, our juniors. So guys, we will not be accommodating any type of request schedule changes by email. So the way this schedule is going to go on the first week of school, and these, again, like Mr. Apodaca said, these are essential changes. If we have placed you in the wrong math course, if we have you like in 2 English courses, those are going to be the type of courses. I'm getting questions like, can I have all my core in the morning and my elective and PE in the afternoon because I am an athlete? We cannot accommodate that, guys. We have a lot of students and we don't have enough classes to accommodate that for every single athlete. So the way the schedule is going to work for those essential changes, it's going to be Monday after school from 12:30 to 4. That's just strictly for seniors. And that is if some of our seniors want to be unscheduled, we do need a parent permission for that. Just any questions with seniors and their schedules, that's strictly for seniors on Monday. On Tuesday after school from 3:30 to until 4:30, we're going to be servicing seniors and juniors. So again, strictly essential changes. Wednesday is going to be right after school, 3:30 to 4:30. It's going to be senior, junior, sophomores. Okay, and you're going to have to wait outside. I know it's going to be hot, but there's going to be a long line. So just prepare for that. Bring some water with you. Hopefully there's a little bit of shade along next to our office. And on Thursday, that's going to be for everyone. So seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen right after school. Okay, so again, I know you're going to get anxious because you have questions and everything. We completely understand, but we are working on cleaning everything up and making any changes that that are needed. So again, that is going to happen until the very first week of school. Okay, does anyone have questions about that? So I see questions, when can my daughter get her schedule? Schedules will not be able to be viewed until August 17th, and they'll be able to be viewed on their student view. Again, if you see something wrong with it, have your child go on their designated time after school. Okay.
So really quick, I want to just reiterate, if your child has been in the district for a long time or for all 4 years, and you've completed the online registration and your address has not changed, then you're not required to come to provide confirmation of a residency verification. Okay. One of the things Mrs. Moss just mentioned, that schedules will be visible to students and parents on August 17th. There's a question on the chat. How does leaving school work for students with a half schedule? If your child is unscheduled, either 6th or 7th period, they will need to come through the front office, sign out at the front office, speak to a person, because we need to make sure that they know that they are in fact unscheduled. We're really tightening up when students leave campus and any person who comes onto our campus during the day. The prices for PE uniforms are $15 a set. All right. We'll be sending more information out on purchasing yearbooks as we get started. I also saw a question earlier for some of our senior Tigers, senior portraits. We've partnered with another company. So I will be providing more information within the first 5 or 10 to 15 days of school. Actually, for our seniors, we'll be having a Tiger Talk webinar exclusively for seniors within the first 10 days, 10 to 15 school days, so that we can talk about all senior activities and upcoming items. Only seniors are eligible to be unscheduled during to have an unscheduled period, sixth or seventh period. For PE clothes, you can pay with a credit card here at the student accounts office.
Mr. Apodaca, one of the questions is, what are the requirements for half schedule? So like Mr. Apodaca said, it is for seniors, but we do have to look at your specific transcript because we have to look at your credits and your GPA. So you could have the credits, but not the GPA. So we just kind of have to look at that. So it's case by case.
Thank you, Mrs. Mas. If you're having trouble getting into Parent View, please reach out to our registrar's office tomorrow, and Mrs. Cardenas will be happy to help you out, or swing by and we can show you how to get that taken care of.
Mr. Apodaca, real quick, I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
spoke to Mrs. Cardenas, and if parents are trying to register their students on the phones, their phones are not working. You have to register your student through a desktop. There's a glitch right now with the Parent View app, and if you try to use it through your phone, it will not allow you. So through a desktop, go through the Parent View, and you're going to go to My Account. And then through My Account, it will allow you to acknowledge everything that needs to be acknowledged. But if you're trying to use it through your phone, you will get an error and you will not be allowed to register your student.
Thank you, Ms. Castillo. That's an excellent point, and you're absolutely right. So the registration needs to be done on a computer and not on our cell phones. Hopefully we can get that corrected down the road. Lockers to change for PE. Yes, we do have boys and girls locker rooms for students to change in and out of PE clothes. Online store for Imperial merchandise. I'm actually glad you asked that. I'm going to be sending out a link for that from our ASB store so that we can, so you can, and it looks like Mr. Rubio is typing that answer as well. So we've answered the Parent View questions. Yes, if you are registered, if you completed the online registration, you should be able to view your schedules. All right. If I'm looking at a question about residency in the first day of school, go ahead and send me an email on that. And so I can talk to you or look at the situation. If you've been in our school, okay, but you've completed the online registration, you just haven't submitted a change of residency, then you should be able to still view your schedule. But give me a call or send me an email and I can get that done. Yeah, you can register your child anytime because it's done online. Unless you're brand new to our district, you would need to complete the online, but you would need to come reach out to the registrar's office. If your son's is new to the high school and you've already registered and approved on Parent View, then we already have your proof of residency, so you're in good shape. All returning students need to do for registration is complete the acknowledgements. So I have a child, I have 2 kids in the district. All my wife did is go on and approve the acknowledgements for on the district website.
Mr. Apodaca, can I add something? I'm seeing a lot, if I do it online, do we have to go on Monday for registration? Although you may not need to provide any documents, I think it is still good for parents and students to still attend because there's going to be other information there, such as the clubs that we have on campus, transportation information, dual enrollment information. So although it's not just going to be just registration, but there's going to be a lot more info that you can get there. And if you have questions, some of us will be there as well.
Very good. Thank you. PE lockers will be assigned by the PE staff. If you're having trouble with the online lunch application, I would reach out to our food services or send me an email and I will forward that to the appropriate personnel. You can't purchase clothes tomorrow. We don't have our personnel back yet, so you'll be able to purchase PE clothes effective on Monday. But if you don't buy them on Monday or Tuesday, they'll be available thereafter here at the student accounts office. Okay, so as far as students changing their class schedules, the requests have already been made. So we would need to find out when school starts, what the schedule is, what needs to be adjusted. So every student needs to have their required classes. So if you are looking to change a class because you're missing an English class or you think you're in the wrong math class, that's all going to be taken care of within the first couple of weeks of school. Like I said, we're going to start with seniors, juniors, 10th graders, and we're going to be able to work to see everybody within that first week of school. But we usually take the first 2 weeks of school to look at any changes. I also want to stress, ladies and gentlemen, it's not that we don't make schedule changes. I've been here at Imperial for 9 years, and some of my teammates have been here a lot longer than I have. Keep in mind that essential changes to the schedule will be approved. If you're missing a class, if you are needing something, if you think you're in the wrong math class, those are essential changes. If you want to make sure you have lunch during a certain lunch, we're not going to approve that change. If you have a class with a certain teacher, we're not going to go ahead and approve that change. So class changes during the first couple of weeks of school will be done in person. They'll just go to the counseling office. Our counselor will see the student and they'll determine whether or not that schedule change needs to be made. But I will be looking at the schedule changes as well and just making sure that we're only doing the essential changes. There was a question earlier about the backpacks that I saw. I don't know if it was answered, but most of our textbooks, not all of them, are online. But I had this conversation with about 3 parents last year. So if your backpack starts getting heavy, I understand that. I've been there. They have these really cool backpacks on wheels that they're a backpack and you put your stuff in there and you just pull it along. And they're very easy to work with. I mean, I guess they don't look as cool as we would like them to look, but I'm thinking about investing in one myself and just kind of pull it. Just kind of like that luggage that you're pulling when you're going to the airport, right? But they're very handy. I've had them before, but I used it so much that I ran the wheels off. So right now I just walk around with a backpack, but it's getting a little heavy. So they do have backpacks on wheels. Chromebooks will be assigned, and our tech department is working on an awesome plan to distribute Chromebooks. What will happen is they'll very likely be distributed during each student's first period class. And I'll have more information coming on that as we get closer to distributing the Chromebooks.
Mr. Apodaca, can I add something regarding lockers and textbooks and?
Absolutely.
Those questions have come up several times. For the most part, the majority of our teachers do keep a class set. So the students will be able to check out a physical book if they want to. They can keep it at home, and they have the class set, obviously, with the teacher's disposal. In addition, some teachers will give out a link to the textbook itself, so the students will have access online to the textbook. So if they have access to the textbook and they prefer using their computers, they don't have to check a textbook out. So we do have options there. So they're not going to be, a student, if a student is carrying 4 or 5 books, that's kind of unheard of these days. The majority of the instruction and the materials used by our teachers are through Canvas, and all the supplemental materials are through Canvas. So I think the majority is the kids have a backpack and a Chromebook, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Rubio. Yeah, PE clothes need to be purchased in person here at the office, and you can pay with credit card. Again, kind of clothes allowed to wear daily at school. Any clothes is really allowed unless it's promoting alcohol, tobacco, or drugs, or it's not in compliance with the district dress code policy. Pants or clothing that's excessively short, sagging, any clothing that promotes violence to tobacco or alcohol or drugs. If you review the dress code policy and the presentation, I'm going to share this presentation with everyone as well. You'll be able to see what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So,
Then, if they're allowed to change their elective, again, that all depends on, what we see on your transcript and everything. For the most part, if you already submitted your request and everything looks okay on your schedule, it is very difficult to change electives right now because everything is full. But again, if you do, you can stop by the counseling office. We'll take a look at it, but we can't guarantee that it'll change.
so there's a question that says if a student on an IEP or a 504 plan, that doesn't stop being in effect. It's always in effect. However, there are annual IEPs to review that and triannuals. So if your child is on an IEP and has been, then that IEP is in effect until we meet again, or there's another IEP meeting to change the goals or make any adjustments to that. Same applies to 504 plans. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 2 minutes before school is out. Before 8 o'clock. I don't ever like keeping everyone longer than 1 hour. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to end this call. And do you have a chat there, Mrs. Moss? Can you put my information in there? My email is japodaca@imperialusd.org. My cell phone number, you can always call the office, but I may not answer in the office. So my cell phone number is 760-540-1366. Great question. Freshman orientation will be on Wednesday, the 17th, 8 to 12. Have those Tigers here at 7:30. Get them here early and have them ready to go. There will be letting them into the gym at about 7:50. But our Link Crew program is ready for your 9th grade Tigers to come in here and start being part of a great tradition here at the Imperial High School. All right. So once again, Mrs. Moss, my cell phone, 760-540-1366. If you have a question or wondering, if you call me, leave me a voicemail, because if I don't recognize the number, I don't usually pick it up. But if you send me a text message, usually I'm pretty good about getting back to you. If you logged into Student View and nothing pops up, go ahead and you're probably registered, but call the registrar's office tomorrow just to make sure. Parents can meet teachers. We're going to have a parent night welcome on September 13th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We have, as far as on campus, we have two security guards. We'll have at least we have 3 administrators. We have a school resource officer, and we have also about 4 part-time supervision helpers here on campus for security. And like I said, we are working closely with Imperial Police Department to make sure that our perimeters are secured. And we are going to be having a meeting down the road specifically on security and what we have going on. So again, This is the first Tiger Talk. We're having another one on August 19th, which is the Friday before the first day of school. If you attended this one, you're welcome to attend the other one, but it's going to be a lot of the same information. All right. So that puts us right now at 8:01, exactly 60 minutes from the start. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish all of you a wonderful evening. I want to wish you nothing but the best. I've been waiting for this since June 9th, and I'm sure the rest of the team has too. They're just not so vocal about it. All right. But once again, I really hope everyone's well. Mrs. Mas, Mr. Rubio, Mrs. Din, anything you want to add before we sign off?
Looking forward to seeing everybody and having a great year.
Awesome. We'll be sharing this link with everyone as well. I look forward to working with you. Fired up about the new year. Make it a masterpiece. Tiger Pride.